Friends, Tally to database utility helps you transfer or synchronize your Tally data to any database server. So the utility supports popular database server like Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, and Google BigQuery. Now the next question arises that after you transfer your data to database server, how to uh, analyze this data for your reporting and dashboarding. Database server understands only one language called SQL, Structured Query Language. So it is pronounced as SQL. Many people think that SQL is a very technical language and it is mostly for IT people. But I would say SQL is a very easy language. So it is not a programming language, but a simple database query language. So this video, I will be focusing on Google BigQuery so that this data residing on your Google BigQuery can be imported into Google Sheet for reporting. And we will be learning how to draft or write SQL query for data analytics purpose. So let's begin. I hope you have already installed the utility. So I have provided the link of the project page in the video description. So just go to that link, ensure you have Node.js installed, okay, and you enable XML port of your Tally. So I have already covered all this if you go through, and I hope you have already downloaded this utility. So if you go to the download section, you'll find download link here. So just download it, okay, and install it. Now I will go through the setup of Google BigQuery. So you need to go Google BigQuery. Okay. So I will click here. Now, if you have landed here first time, okay, I will click try in console. So you might have to set up your Google Cloud account. So you might or might not have to link your debit or credit card. Okay, for me, I had to link, but there is a sandbox version available where you don't have to link your credit card. So with limited usage you get. Okay, so this is a pay something like this. Now the utilities doesn't know how to connect to your BigQuery. So credential file is the main thing. So if you go to my project, okay, and go to docs, Google BigQuery. So I have already included tutorials or steps to install that credential file. So first few steps, sign up, okay, then creation of database. So for now you can skip this. I would be demonstrating. Yeah, now the step number 4 onwards, this is a one-time step. Please note, this is a one-time step. So these steps are for basically downloading the credential files, which would be connecting your utility with your Google BigQuery. Okay, so I have already included screenshot. So you need to download that file with the name and save it as BigQuery credentials. Okay, I have already included BigQuery credentials.json file. Okay, so you have to carefully rename it while saving it. Okay, so I have my Tally here running with my desired company open. Okay, so my utility is there here. Okay, and I already downloaded this BigQuery credential.json. So I am set here. Now only thing is that I need to create database. Okay, so I will go here. Okay, and again now in this project, if you go to home page, okay, now you cannot use this database structure.sql. So this is for Microsoft SQL Server. So you need to go to platform Google BigQuery database structure.sql. So this is specifically for Google BigQuery. Okay. But before that, we need to create a database. So if you analyze this, so it is expecting that there is a database by name TallyDB. Okay, so I will also create a database. You go here, create data set, and let us write TallyDB. Okay, you can enter any of your name, whatever. You need to find replace it. So region, I am going to search for Asia. Okay. So I will choose Mumbai. You can choose anyone and create dataset. So this would create dataset or database. Okay, so synonym. So a database dataset got created, but if you click here, but there are no tables in it. So we would need to instruct it. So we'll click here, copy raw file. Okay, so this is SQL query editor window. So I will right click and paste my query here. So this SQL query, so let's not go into technicality. Okay, so this is creating tables under the database called TallyDB, and this is my table name. Okay. So if this is appearing small, I will zoom this a bit. Now let's run this. Now you can see this query running. So there are multiple SQL statements. Okay. So let's wait for all the statements. So each table is a one statement. So it may take few seconds or maybe a minute to run. Let's wait. And the see here, okay, success. That means it has run. So it created 31 tables, which you can see here. Okay, and so this is a structure for database we created, and these are blank tables. So there is no data in these tables. So we have just created the tables, empty tables. Okay, I will delete this. Okay, so we are done with our database with tables created. Now let's go to the utility and instruct it to transfer tally data into this data set. Okay, so I will go to run GUI. So I will use graphical version for this. So here you get Google BigQuery. Okay, now it is expecting that in the utility folder you have already a BigQuery credential file. Then, so even if there is a mismatch in name of that file, then it might not work. Okay, so ensure that the file name is exact. Okay, BigQuery-credentials.json. Okay, schema is nothing but database or dataset name. So we created by name TallyDB. Okay, so we already have this normal definition file, and this is about Tally. So Tally is running locally on the 9000 port, and the financial year is 2021. So I just need to change 2020 to 2021, and you can often select the company also, Technothread Traders Limited. Okay, let's press sync. Okay, okay, so basically it is transferring data. So it might take couple of minutes. Okay, so I would skip this video directly to the end of the synchronization to save some time. Okay, so we are done with this. So if you check here, synchronization is complete, import completed successfully. So it took almost, for me, it took 1 to 2 minutes to complete this. Okay, now next we see that if our data is loaded successfully or not. Okay, so let's head to this. Now let's verify our data. Okay, so these are all my tables created. So let's pick any table. So I will go to a report called statistics to make it easier to understand. So these are all my masters and these are all my transactions or vouchers. Okay, so there are groups, 34 groups. Okay, so let's go to Google BigQuery. So all the tables with prefix MX represent master and with TRN represent your voucher. So MST group. Let's open this table. So if you click here, this would open. So these are all the fields or columns of this table. Okay. And if you click to preview, you can have a glance of your data. Okay, let's verify one row or record. Like let's say bank account. Okay, this row. So if I go to tally groups bank account. So bank account, it is under current assets. So bank account, the parent name is current assets, and these are all the, now all these fields, what exactly these are, and it represents, I have already explained in another video series called Excel dashboard. So you can refer to that series to have an understanding. This video we will concentrate only on SQL queries. So like this you can view your data, ledger table. Okay, okay, so our data seems to be here. Let us understand structure of a simple SQL query. So your SQL query always start with select space fields. So you can have single or multiple fields or columns from table. So the field names which you will be including in select would be displayed in the result. Okay. From which table do you want to display those table? Now, if you notice the remaining lines of this SQL query, I have deliberately faded or grayed out because those are optional. Okay, so just to give you an overview, joining is similar to your VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP of Excel, where you merge multiple tables, okay, using some common field. Where is your condition? It's just like filtering in Excel. Then group by is nothing but a pivot, and order by is sorting. Okay, so let's start with our very simple basic SQL query. Let's zero down to any one table. So I would select MST group table. Okay. I'm just clicking it for viewing purpose so that we can compare the results. Okay, so I would go in preview mode. Okay, and try to compare the result. So these tables we have multiple fields. So let's say I just want to see the results with fields called name, parent. Okay, only these two. So I would write my SQL query, select. Okay, and no need to capitalize it. Only for understanding purpose I capitalize it. So select space, name of the field, separated by commas. So I want to view the values in name and parent field. Okay, from the table is MST group. Okay, MST underscore group. Okay, now generally in database server you just need to write table name, because at a time you can query only from one database at a time. But Google BigQuery is a data warehouse, so it can query from multiple database simultaneously. So it says that you even need to tell database name and then table name. Okay, so I will click here, double click here. Okay, so if you see, so it has automatically prefixed database name dot table. Okay, so this is not a quotation single quote but a tilde sign. Okay, so the very button below your escape button. Okay, this is it, so it encloses it in tilde sign. So select these two fields from the table. So database name dot table name, MST group of TallyDB database. Let's click run and check the results. Okay, if you see, you can check the results here. So I can click here and expand it. Load more. Okay. So I'm able to see very specific view or result set of this group table. Okay. So you can enclose as many fields which you want to query or see. Okay. Now let's say you want to view all the fields available in this MST group table. Now writing this with comma separated value would be tedious. Like let's say ledger table. Okay. Ledger table has many fields if you check. Okay. So many fields. So it would be very tedious to write all these field names in comma separated. Okay, so I will start one more query. So I will write semicolon so that this query ends here and multiple enter type and write one more query. Select. Now I want to view all the fields from table called MST ledger. Now instead of writing all this field name, I can write star or asterisk sign. Select star from MST underscore ledger. You can always press Control space to invoke that drop down menu if it doesn't come. Okay. So this will auto complete this. So star or asterisk means kindly display all the field name, all the fields of this MST ledger table. Okay. Now if you directly run, it would run both the queries. So I will press, go to the next line and write semicolon. So BigQuery doesn't know which SQL statement or query you want to run. So you have to nicely select this and then click run to avoid the confusion. Okay. Now it would not run this, but only the selection. Let's check. Okay, so this is the ledger table. Let me introduce you to a concept called renaming or aliasing. Technically, it's called aliasing in SQL query. So as and when our SQL query starts growing, so as we write complex query, so the query becomes unmanageable, okay, and difficult to read. So we require renaming of our tables and fields. So for the time being, let's assume we have this SQL query of group. So I write right here and I will run this. Okay, now let's say I want to display this as group name under instead of parent. Okay, so because parent is confusing, so let's say I want this field to be displayed as group name. So I can always write as and new name. Okay, group underscore name. Now ensure you don't have spaces in that aliasing or new field names. Okay. So this is new field now for this parent. So now if I select this and run this, instead of parent, it would start displaying as group name. Okay. The same way you might need to alias a table also. Like we would be querying multiple tables. So at that time, writing this complete thing would be very difficult. So query would go long. So we can alias our even table. Let's say I will copy this ledger table. Okay. So I can rename this as like let's say sorry as so I can rename it very small like let's say letter L. Okay, ledger so L dot name ledger dot name L dot parent. Okay, So I can write something like this. Okay. And then this, or let's say I want to view all the fields under table ledger. So I can write L dot asterisk. Okay. So as good as normal star. Okay. Only thing that now it has new name. So the ledger table will be referenced by a new name called L. Okay. For this SQL query. Okay. So I will put semicolon. And you can save this all these SQL queries. Okay. So I will click save query. Let's say demo. Okay, so this SQL, all these SQL query would be saved on your cloud. Okay, so these queries are there in, let's say, if you expand here in shared, sorry, here you'll find all this. So I already have many queries. So demo is my query. Okay, so I hope this concept is clear. Don't worry, as and when we proceed, this would be clear. Let's see how do we filter the data. Okay, now let's say we zero in down to ledger table. Okay, now in the ledger table, I want to, let's take an example. Okay, I will go to chart account. Let's say I want to view all the ledgers under the group corporates. Okay, mark the spelling corporates. Don't worry, this demo data I already shared the link of this. Okay, you can restore this tally backup. I will copy paste this query. Okay, so I'm going to reuse this. So semicolon is for query ending. I will remove it for the time being. So let's say now I want to filter. So where is field name? So I want to apply filter to field called parent. Okay. So where L dot parent. So you can press tab to autocomplete is equal to in single quotes. Okay. Now single quotes, not tilde. Single quote. So single quote is somewhere left to the enter key, your big enter key. Single quote. So group name is corporates. So you are corporates. Semicolon. Okay. So let's select this using shift and try to run this. Let's see if any result comes. Yes, we'll expand this. Okay. So we have 5 ledgers with parent or group as corporates. Let's verify this. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Infosys LTI. Okay. So like this, you can apply filter. Let's try one more filter. Okay. Like if you notice, there is field called is revenue. Okay. 0, 1. Okay, something like this. Now, when is revenue is 1, that means that is a profit loss ledger, and 0 is for balance sheet. So let me copy paste this query. I just change this where. Okay. So I will select this where L dot is revenue. Okay, is equal to. Now previously we wrote single quote because ledger name is textual, but his revenue is numeric one. You can very easily identify. All the numeric fields are always right aligned. Okay, and the textual field left aligned. So 1. So that means display all the ledgers which are under profit loss. Okay, so I'll select this query specifically and press run. So we'll get list. Okay, these are all my ledgers and the profit loss. So let me go check this. So prime FSC, yes, purchase laptop and this. Yeah. So these are all my profit loss ledgers. Okay. So this is how our where operates. And let's say you want multiple things. So his revenue is 1, and let's say we want only expense ledgers. Okay. So if you notice, is deemed positive. Okay. If 1 is there, that means it's a debit. Otherwise, 0, it's a credit. So all the profit loss ledger with default nature of debits. So, and that means check one more condition, L dot is deemed positive. Okay. Select this, press enter or tab is equal to 1. That means it should be debit. Let's select this and run this. So this time only specifically expenses ledger comes. Let's say I want only income ledger. I will copy paste this query and make this 0. So these are all my income ledgers. So we saw how to filter numeric fields like this deemed positive revenue and textual fields, okay, like this parent. So this is a textual field. Now let's see how to filter dates. For that I will have to take voucher table where there are dates. Okay, let me show you the voucher table. TRN voucher. Okay, I'll preview this. So there are dates. Okay, so let's pick up any date and try to fetch transaction of that specific date. Okay, so my simple first query would be select star from table name. So trn underscore control space, it will not invoke the menu. Okay, so as let's rename it. It's a good practice. So voucher, so we can rename it as V. So V dot, let's say I want to view only let date and V dot voucher type and voucher number. So sometimes I have to type a bit. Okay. So this is a very simple query to query this voucher table. Now let's say I want to filter only vouchers of date 30 April 2020. Okay, so date is in reverse format, in international format. So I would say where v dot date is equal to, again in single quotes you have to write in the reverse format. So 2020 year month is April and 30th April. Okay. So let's select and run this query. Okay, so on 30th April we have these many vouchers. You can always keep on verifying from tally. Generally you can go from day book. Okay, day book 34. Yeah, these you have these many vouchers which you can see. Now don't worry, why don't you see debit, credit and stock item? So that are in different table. Okay, so this was just about simple filtering. Now something about sorting. Okay, so pivoting I will cover in next video. Okay. So let me go to group table. Okay, copy this query and again paste it here. So I'm running this SQL query, selecting and running this. Okay. So we got all these group names. Okay, now these are not actually alphabetically sorted. So let's say I want to sort this result say based on the name of the group. Okay, so I can write here order by. Okay, now since we are not aliased it, so let me write as G. Okay, order by G dot, so that we get a drop down. Okay, g dot, so group dot name. Okay, group dot name. Now select and run this. Let's see. Okay, these are alphabetically sorted. Okay, let's say you want to sort it by parent instead of name. You can simply maybe write parent. Okay, so all the group without parents, primary comes first, and then all the. Now if you see, we have written many SQL queries, so it's really difficult to um, make it understand that which query is doing what. Okay, so let's write some annotations or notes for documentation purpose. Okay, so if you write slash star star slash, so you can write notes between this. You can say that here we covered sorting. Okay, sort. Okay, let's say filter for date. Okay, so like this you can write notes. So let's say even if you select this, so would not be considered as SQL statement. If I run this, so Google BigQuery will exclude this stars slash slash star star. Okay, so these are nodes. So these are not part of the query to be executed. Okay. You see, it has not executed this. It is only executing this statement. So like this, you can very properly write that what this SQL query is doing if you have multiple SQL query in single file. Okay, and don't forget, sorry, to save this file. Keep on saving. Control S, and this would save it. And if this confuses you, okay, so you can create many SQL queries like this. So you can press plus, maybe you can transfer few query, cut and paste here, okay, and organize like this, so that becomes easy to uh, organize. So all these SQL query would appear here. Friends, time to wrap up this video. So we are not done yet. So in the next video, I would be covering few more techniques like grouping, or let's say pivoting, if you call, then joining of tables, and there are few more steps. So I'm running a series of this. Okay, so let's see in the next one. Lastly, if you find this useful, please do like the video, share it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.